If you're over 60 and you start most mornings with a cup of coffee, I have news that may change your whole routine. The coffee itself isn't the problem. In fact, black coffee has some real benefits. But the way most seniors take their coffee, and especially the time and the empty stomach they take it on, may be silently spiking their blood sugar and wearing down their body in ways they never connect to that innocent cup. There's one way you should never take your coffee after 60. And by the end, I'll give you a simple trick that can flatten your blood sugar spikes at every meal, using the exact same food you already eat. Over the next few minutes, I'll show you the coffee habits that work against your blood sugar, the better way to take that cup, and a handful of easy changes I call the steady sugar reset. But the most powerful habit comes at the very end, a small change in the order you eat your food that can dramatically lower the spike after a meal, without giving up a single thing on your plate. I've saved it for last, because it may be the most useful thing you learn all week. Before we begin, tell me in the comments how you take your coffee, black or with sugar and cream. Just type black or sugar and cream. Your answer is going to matter more than you think. First, an important word, especially if this topic is close to home. If you have diabetes or take any medication for blood sugar, do not change your eating, your coffee, or your routine based on a video. Talk with your doctor first. Some blood sugar medications can drive your sugar too low, and skipping food or suddenly exercising more can be dangerous if your treatment isn't adjusted. Learn the signs of low blood sugar, shakiness, sweating, confusion, sudden weakness, and treat them seriously. And if you often feel very thirsty, tired, blurry-eyed, or you're losing weight without trying, please get your blood sugar checked, because those can be signs it's running high. Everything I share today is general education to help you build better habits and ask better questions, never a replacement for the doctor who manages your care. I've spent more than 20 years caring for older adults, and I've watched how blood sugar quietly becomes one of the central issues of aging, often years before anyone is ever told the word diabetes. Stay with me because these small changes can make a real difference, and most of them are free. Let me explain why blood sugar becomes such a challenge after 60. Because it isn't your fault, and it isn't only about sweets. As we age, our bodies become more resistant to insulin, the hormone that ushers sugar out of your blood and into your cells for energy. On top of that, we lose muscle, and muscle is one of the main places blood sugar gets stored and burned. Less muscle means sugar lingers in the blood longer. We also tend to move less, which removes one of the best natural ways to clear it. The result is that after 60, the same meal that never troubled you at 40 can now send your blood sugar higher and keep it there longer. And those repeated spikes matter because over the years they wear on your blood vessels, your nerves, your eyes, and your kidneys, quietly, long before you feel anything. The frightening part is how common and how silent this is. A huge number of older adults have blood sugar creeping into the danger zone, the stage called prediabetes, and have no idea because it rarely causes symptoms until real damage is done. That's why a simple blood test called an A1C, which shows your average blood sugar over 3 months, is one of the most useful numbers to ask your doctor for. There's an everyday cost too. Those spikes and the crashes that follow them are behind a lot of the afternoon fatigue, the brain fog, and the constant hunger many older people blame on age. The reassuring part is that daily habits move the needle powerfully, and your morning coffee is where many people go wrong first. Here's the first coffee mistake, and it's the most obvious once you see it. Turning your coffee into a dessert. A splash of sweetened flavored creamer here, 2 sugars there, a drizzle of syrup, a large shop-bought coffee that carries as much sugar as a can of soda, and a simple cup becomes a blood sugar bomb you drink first thing on an empty stomach when your body is least ready for it. Many people don't realize how much sugar hides in their cup because it doesn't taste like a dessert to them anymore. It just tastes like morning. The flavored creamers labeled vanilla, hazelnut, or caramel are often mostly sugar and oil, and a single large coffee shop drink can hide the equivalent of many spoonfuls. Even 2 sugars twice a day adds up week after week. If you answered sugar and cream a moment ago, this is worth a hard look. The fix isn't to suffer through bitter coffee forever. Drink it black if you can learn to enjoy it, or use a small amount of plain milk. And if you miss the sweetness, a shake of cinnamon adds warmth and flavor with no sugar at all. And some research suggests cinnamon may even gently support blood sugar. Small swap, real payoff. And take heart, black coffee itself, unsweetened, has actually been linked in large studies to a lower long-term risk of type 2 diabetes. So this was never about giving up coffee. It's about giving up the sugar you've been hiding inside it. If sweet coffee is all you've known, wean down slowly, a little less each week, and your taste buds will adjust faster than you expect. The second mistake is the one I warned you about, the way you should never take your coffee after 60 yai. And it surprises almost everyone because it isn't about what's in the cup. It's drinking strong black coffee first thing, on a completely empty stomach, before you've eaten anything, especially after a poor night's sleep. Here's why it matters. Research has found that when people drink black coffee on an empty stomach after a rough night, the caffeine can temporarily blunt their body's ability to handle sugar, so the very next thing they eat, that breakfast, spikes their blood sugar noticeably higher than it otherwise would. Your morning cup, taken the wrong way, can set up a bigger spike from the meal that follows. There's a second layer to it, too. In the early morning, your body is already releasing hormones that naturally raise blood sugar to wake you up. Pouring strong coffee onto that empty, primed system only adds to the effect. The fix is refreshingly easy. Don't take your coffee on a bare, empty stomach. Eat a few bites first, ideally something with a little protein, like an egg or some yogurt, or simply enjoy your coffee alongside your breakfast rather than an hour before it. Same coffee, same amount, just paired with food instead of hitting an empty system. That one change alone can steady your whole morning. The third mistake happens at the other end of the day: caffeine too late. Many older adults sip coffee into the afternoon or evening out of habit, not realizing that caffeine lingers in the body for hours and quietly steals their sleep. And here's the connection people miss: poor sleep directly worsens blood sugar. A single bad night can leave your body more insulin resistant the very next day, so that late afternoon cup can be raising tomorrow's numbers while you sleep or fail to sleep. The fix is to set a caffeine curfew. Caffeine can linger in your system for 5, 6, even more hours, so a cup at 4 in the afternoon may still be working against you at bedtime. Try to have your last caffeinated coffee by early afternoon, and switch to decaf or a caffeine-free herbal drink after that. And remember, decaf still carries many of coffee's benefits without the sleep cost. Protecting your sleep is protecting your blood sugar. The two are far more connected than most people ever realize. Let's move beyond the cup, because a few broader habits make everything steadier. The first is pairing. Never eat fast carbohydrates alone. The toast, the cereal, the biscuit, the sweet roll that so often rides along with morning coffee. On their own, they rush into your blood as sugar. But when you pair them with protein, healthy fat, or fiber, an egg with your toast, some yogurt, a handful of nuts, a piece of cheese, that food slows everything down, and the same carbohydrate produces a gentler, lower rise. The second is hydration, and it comes with a warning. The fastest way to spike your blood sugar is to drink it. Fruit juice, soda, sweet tea, and sugary sodas hit your bloodstream even faster than food, because there's no fiber or chewing to slow them down. Water helps your body manage blood sugar, and many older adults walk around mildly dehydrated, which can nudge their numbers up. So make water, not sweet drinks, your default through the day. One more driver deserves a mention: stress. When you're tense, your body releases hormones that push blood sugar up, so finding small ways to unwind, a walk, prayer, time with people you enjoy, genuinely helps your numbers, not just your mood. And here's a powerful one, almost a preview of the finale. Take a short walk after your meals. Even 10 minutes of easy walking after you eat helps your muscles pull sugar out of your blood before it can spike, and study after study shows it works. The best window is within about half an hour of finishing, when the sugar from your meal is rising, and it doesn't need to be brisk. An easy, gentle stroll counts. Do it after your largest meal of the day if you do it only once. A walk after dinner isn't just pleasant. It's one of the most effective free blood sugar treatments there is. And here it is. The trick I saved for last, the most powerful of all, and the one almost nobody knows. It's not just what you eat, or even how much. It's the order you eat it in. Picture your usual meal. If you start with the bread, the rice, the potato, the sweet tea, the carbohydrates, that sugar hits your bloodstream fast and high. But if you eat the same meal in a different order, your vegetables and fiber first, then your protein and fats, and save the carbohydrates for last, something remarkable happens. That first layer of fiber and protein forms a kind of barrier in your stomach, slowing how quickly the carbohydrate that follows turns into blood sugar. Studies have found that eating your food in this order, vegetables and protein before carbohydrates, can substantially lower the blood sugar spike after a meal compared to eating the very same food in the reverse order. Same plate, same calories, nothing removed, just a different sequence, and a far gentler rise. Think about how freeing that is. You don't have to give up the foods you love. You simply eat them in a smarter order. Greens and protein first, the starch and the sweet at the end, when your body is better prepared for them. Start your dinner with the salad and the meat or fish, and let the rice or bread come last. This is why the old tradition of beginning a meal with soup or a small salad was quietly wise. It works because that first layer of fiber and protein slows how fast your stomach empties and prompts your body to release the signals that handle sugar more gently. You can use it anywhere, at home, at a restaurant, at a family dinner, with no one even noticing you're doing it. It costs nothing. It removes nothing, and it may be the single easiest way to protect your blood sugar at every meal for the rest of your life. This is the hidden lever under all the others, and now you have it. Put it all together, and it becomes a routine you can actually keep, what I call the steady sugar reset. Take your coffee black or lightly, not as a sugary dessert, and never on a bare empty stomach. Pair it with food. Set a caffeine curfew by early afternoon to protect the sleep that protects your sugar. Never eat fast carbohydrates naked. Pair them with protein, fat, or fiber. Take a short walk after your meals to burn off the rise. And above all, eat your food in the right order. Vegetables and protein first, carbohydrates last. Coffee, curfew, pairing, walking, and order. 5 small habits, not one of which asks you to give up the things you enjoy. And together they can steady the blood sugar that silently shapes how you age. Ask your doctor for that A1C number so you know where you stand and check it again in a few months. Watching it improve is one of the most motivating things you'll ever see. Let me speak to you plainly for a moment, not as someone making a video, but as a doctor who has watched blood sugar change the course of too many lives, one quiet year at a time. I've sat with people the day they learned their blood sugar had crossed a line no one had warned them about. And so often, when we looked back, it wasn't dramatic mistakes that got them there. It was ordinary habits, repeated for decades. The sweet morning coffee on an empty stomach, the bread eaten first, the sitting after meals, the late cup that wrecked their sleep. None of it felt harmful in the moment. I remember one man, a lifelong 3 sugars in his coffee gentleman, who was stunned to learn his morning ritual was part of his rising numbers. He switched to cinnamon, started walking after supper, and months later his doctor was smiling at his results. That's exactly why these small things are so easy to miss, and so worth catching early. I won't tell you these habits replace medicine when it's truly needed, because sometimes it is, but I will tell you this, plainly. Your blood sugar responds day by day to choices this small, and the earlier you make them, the more they protect. The difference between the people who kept their blood sugar steady and the people who watched it climb was rarely a single big decision. It was small, repeatable habits, done long before there was a diagnosis to fear. You can start one of them at your very next cup of coffee or your very next meal. Not next year, not after the next checkup, the next plate in front of you. That's how it begins. So let's bring it together. After 60, your body handles sugar less easily, and your daily coffee is often where the trouble starts. Don't take it as a sugary dessert, and never on a bare empty stomach. Pair it with food, keep a caffeine curfew, and protect your sleep. Then steady every meal with 3 habits. Pair your carbohydrates with protein and fiber, walk a little after you eat, and eat your food in the right order. Vegetables and protein first, carbohydrates last. If this gave you something you can use at your very next cup, tap like. It helps this reach other people over 60 whose blood sugar is slowly creeping up without them knowing. And subscribe, because every week I share one more honest, practical habit to help you stay healthy and independent as you age. And I read the comments, so tell me, did you type black or sugar and cream earlier? And which of these habits will you try first tomorrow morning? Say it out loud, because the people who name their first step are far more likely to take it, and you might nudge someone else to start too. If it helped, share it with someone you love who takes their coffee sweet and has never connected it to their health. This might be the video that gently changes their morning. Take care of yourself. One last thing. Everything here is general educational information based on current understanding and years of clinical experience. It is not personalized medical advice. If you have diabetes, prediabetes, or take any medication that affects blood sugar or blood pressure, talk with your doctor before changing your diet, your caffeine, or your activity, and never stop a medication on your own. That isn't just a legal disclaimer. It's sincere advice from Dr. Hale, someone who would very much like you, healthy, steady, and enjoying your morning coffee for many years to come. Take care of yourself, and tomorrow morning, have a bite before that first sip.